got here is a Sauer 38H. It's a unique older handgun, and it needed some grips. Let's see if I can show you guys some of the markings on it. Woo! There we go. That Cal 765 is written on the side of the slide, and that's about the only markings that you find on it. It looks very similar to a Walther, but it's not a Walther. So anyways, it was a unique one to try and find grips and everything for it. And our hardware. Now I expect that we'll probably have to make some changes to these grips to get them to fit. I may have to haul it out a little bit. We'll see. It's very important whenever you put grips on, especially a gun like this that's an older vintage, you need to make sure that even if the grips fit, you got to make sure that everything on the gun functions properly. Slide, all your safeties, everything functions the way that it should, because a lot of times there's a high probability that it's going to get in the way of something working properly. See, like right now, whenever I just hold that up, I don't know if you all can see how the hole's misaligned? So it's going to have to take a little bit of work to get it to line up properly. On this side, you got all this decocker or whatever, different, decocker mechanism and everything in there. It also seems that the grip has come in crooked. So we're going to have to heat that so we can get it moved back over where it belongs. Okay, so we're going to go back over here to this side and take a look. The side that's bent, I've got my oven heating up, and we're going to heat this up and reform it. On this side, this is the side that whenever you snap it in, and see you've got this molded area here, that's going to fit within there, and it'll snap right in. The problem is that it's not lining up to our screw hole. Well, what we'll do is take our screw, go ahead, put it through, and I'm going to just get the screw started. If you have to push down here a little bit to keep it from angling and cross-threading, go ahead and do that. And then it's kind of wanting to snap in. It's always worth a try before you start cutting on things to just check and see. Now you want to tighten it up to operating pressure to as tight as you think you're going to need it. You want to check all of your lines. Check right there. If you've got a piece of, say, some thick paper, you can run a piece of thick paper through there, and if you can get that paper to go through there, you've got decent clearance. I can feel it dragging, but there is clearance. I may brush it up just a little bit, but everything seems to be working there. Now, here's the catch though. When I go to put this magazine in, it goes to right there and stops. So, we could have one or two things going on. It could be this section here of the grip itself getting squeezed in there, or the screw could be pushing through. And based off of that fresh looking scratch and where the magazine sits there, I bet it might be the screw. Let me get a light and we'll take a look and see. I don't know if you guys can see down in there very well or not. But it's the screw. So, what we'll do, take a look and see that the screw is in fact rubbing. So that lets us know that we've got to take a little bit off of it. Now you might assume that maybe you could do the same amount to the other one because they're the same length, but I wouldn't assume anything with something like this. I'm going to go ahead and I'll sand the top of this just a little bit, give a little clearance, and then we'll try them out. This is my preferred method of doing this. I'll take whatever the screw is that I'm working on, I'll chuck it into a drill, turn my grinder on, then I'll go over on the wire wheel that's on the other side of the grinder and do the same thing, just touch it. Go. It's a good bit shorter now. Need to hit that with a sander. There we go. I beveled the inside of that just a little bit. Hit it with a sander. Right in. Okay. Now for this one, I'm going to go put it in the oven, let it get a little bit more pliable, and we'll press it on and see how it does. But I guess what I can do is go ahead and we'll test it for magazine fitment. Yeah, it's fitting, but it's tight. and it appears that it's the grip itself that's in the way this time. Alright, I just laid this in the oven down like that, and already the area that was sticking up has come down a good bit, just under its own weight. So what I'm going to do is bias the edges in a little bit. That way, as the screw draws it in, it'll stay tight. You can also use boiling water, or not necessarily boiling water, you can take that back. Hot water to add your heat to these to form them. I don't like doing that because, well, you're dealing with, you got water. Your water's all over your firearm. Which I'm not one of these ones that, oh no, water on my gun. But it just makes a mess. Especially, you know, like this older gun here, I would have to make certain that I got it dry and cleaned up, so this way I can heat it, it stays dry, and it's just a much better way of doing it. See, now you look here and it's hanging down on that side. Everything seems to be working. All right, we're definitely catching. Let me see if I can get this where you guys can see. Down in there, it's catching, it's actually hitting on the grip itself. So I'll show you how I fix that. Okay, got that filed up. I went ahead and took this other screw down some, and now I'm going to put a little Loctite on there. Since I've already got that side installed, what I'll do is put a little bit of this wicking grade Loctite, the 290. Let me get it cleaned off here. Use these little bamboo sticks. Lets me get Loctite on them. The bamboo soaks up that Loctite where it will hold it a little bit. Didn't hold it well enough though, did it? Because it dripped. We'll try again. There we go. give that a moment to soak in. And that'll also help keep it from wanting to corrode. Not a whole lot, but it will help. Now we'll go with some blue Loctite. And that press fit, the 290 is not real strong. So it's very comparable to a blue Loctite. Maybe just a touch stronger. Well, let's see. I actually forgot to sand on the bottom to get it to fit. So I might have to pull it back off and address that. Maybe not. Yeah, you're gonna have to adjust a little bit. So when we run into that problem, what I'll do, since these are black, take a silver marker that way I can see where I'm grinding at. This is kind of like a Scotch-Brite pad. See how it fits. Put a little bit more Loctite on. There we go. Looks just fine to me. All right. When I got to looking at it, this screw was real close to the surface, and this one was recessed, and so I chucked this up in the drill press and opened that up, deepened that recess. Now, magazine fits in there just perfectly, no problems. Got a little bit of a gap here. I'm going to put the whole gun in the oven and allow that to sink down. The whole thing will heat up, and I'll have to make sure to put my screws in, check them out again. Now this has been in the oven for a little while, and it is pretty hot to the touch. And so what I'm going to do now is wrap it with this. This is actually an exercise band. Doesn't have to be anything special. It'll hold itself. There we go. And what that does is that puts pressure on it on all sides. Actually, I'm going to change something here. There we go. What that will do is it puts pressure on all sides, and it will help suck that down on there, and it does not mar. A little bit of time's passed now. We'll unwrap this. Let's see if we're able to close our gap up from heating it and wrapping it. It's closed up pretty nicely. Throw a little bit of frog lube on here to help it. And it's all done. Thanks, guys.